Okay, I'm going to hang up here. See if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing? Good, good. All right, awesome. All right, I see we got Mary Ellis on here today as well. Hi, Mary Ellis. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Cool. All right, beautiful. So we're going to give it a minute, guys. I see we just got a couple on. Today, we're going to be going through, I may have a special guest with us today. Brian, I'm actually waiting to see if he comes on board with us. If not, guys, I'm going to be going through an outline to basically hire an inside sales agent. Okay, to kind of give you guys some, background on myself. I've been doing it for about 20 years. I've built teams up to 85. I probably hired 1,500 to 2,000 people when it comes to sales as well as train them. Okay, so that's really what we're going to focus on today. And if we get an opportunity, we might have a special guest speaker in here, Brian. He's going to be hopping in and out of meetings. All right, sound good, guys? All right, beautiful. All right, so I see we got Scott, Audrey, Patrick, and Mary Ellis. All right, so we're going to give it we'll give it 3 more minutes, guys, to see if anybody else joins us today. All right, and again, we're going to be talking about hiring, recruiting, and training inside sales associates. Okay. If you guys could in the chat for me while we're waiting, let me know, guys, if you've ever hired anybody, an ISA before, or if you currently have one at this time that actually works for you. Okay, so Scott, Patrick, Audrey, Mary Ellis, if you can just give me a little idea there about what you guys have in place now, or maybe even experience that you've done in the past. All right, and Mary Ellis, I know you were just stepped away. Okay, so Patrick never had you never used an ISA. Okay, I was gonna say, Mary Ellis, in the chat, just let me know if you have an ISA or if you've ever used an inside sales associate or potentially ever even trained or hired.
No, never.
No? Okay, cool. All right, Jennifer, how are you? All right, awesome. So we're going to give it 2 more minutes, guys, to see if anybody gets in here. And then again, we're going to jump right into it. How many of you guys have the digital copy of the playbook? Yes? No? Yes? Okay. Guys, you can actually go to page 244 is where we're going to start if you do have that. I know that's on the digital version. Okay, the hard copy, it might be like a couple pages off because I know we have a little bit more in the hard copy.
And the hard copy is on the way, or?
Yeah, the new hard copies are going to be on the way. Samantha's on there, so she's probably smiling as we speak. So
It's going to be a few weeks out before the 2022 hard copies are out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we still have to get them printed, which takes 2 weeks, finalize all that stuff and shipped. So.
Tell them, hurry up.
Yeah.
For now, we do have the digital one, guys. Okay, that you guys can follow along with. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, it's 11:19, so we're just going to go with it. Okay, can you guys see my screen here? Recruiting, page 244? Yes? Okay, beautiful. So, and again, I would ask this, guys, well, and think about this. What leads do you guys have right now that if you were to hire an inside sales associate, that you would specifically want them to work? Okay, whether this for sale by owners, expireds, internet leads you have, your sphere of influence. Give me an idea, guys, of what you would like them to call. We have a very communicative group this morning. So you guys know, I don't know how many of you know me. If I don't see communication, guys, I'll start forcing it. I'll just stop. Okay, so I'm a type of person, right? All right, beautiful. FSBOs, expired, Z buyers. Okay, uncorked, past uncorked leads, beautiful. So if you guys write this down for me, okay, if you're going to have anything outside a sphere of influence, okay, that's, your have-mets, people that know you, you need somebody on the phone, okay, that's driven, okay. Remind me tomorrow, sorry. Trying to do an update on my computer, of course, right? They're driven, okay. They need to have high energy. Okay, if you're calling cold leads, guys, or FSBOs, expireds, or old internet leads, and you sound like this on the phone, I don't care how many dials you make, okay, or what leads you're calling, your conversion will not be very good. Okay, their excitement level, the person on the other line, guys, will never be as high as the person you have on the phone. So if the person you have on the phone has an excitement level of 3, the other person they're talking to is going to be down at a 1. Does that make sense? Okay. So I just tell you guys that's one of the big things I look for when I hire salespeople. Here's a question that I ask. Okay, don't laugh at me too much, but I've been asking this question for almost 2 decades. Okay, and it really helps. It's designed to put them on their toes. Okay, so you ask them, if you had to describe yourself to me, Scott. Okay, I'm going to pick on Scott because I know you better. All right, as an animal, what animal would best describe who you are as a person? And more importantly, why would that animal best describe you? I'm telling you guys. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
I'd say polar bear.
Polar bear? Okay, why?
Because I got to adapt to different situations as the climate changes, and I've got to survive for myself.
I love it. Love it. And guys, I'll tell you this, the why is very important. I've had people say dog and had great answers, right? Loyal. They're hard workers. They're going to be there for you at all time. And I've also had people say a dog because they get to eat and sleep all day. Right. So the person that said eat and sleep all day, they didn't get hired. Okay. Best answer I've heard was duck. She said, it's one of my old assistants. She owns a company now. She's multimillionaire, doing very, very well. She goes to me, a duck, because I'm beautiful and elegant on the outside, but underneath I'm making stuff happen. I'm constantly working. So that was a great answer. So anyways, that's something, guys, I like to just throw out there from me personally, that I like to ask. So let's get into the playbook, all right? Because I know Isaiah wants me to get through this with you guys and really kind of hone in on some of this stuff. All right, so if you notice there, the first bullet point says one of the most common mistakes when recruiting is we're not building unique value propositions into our recruiting process. Okay. Well, think about that, guys. Why should they want to work for you? Just like, guys, when you get asked, Audrey, why should I list my home with you compared to somebody else? You have some answers for that, right? Absolutely. Same thing, guys, when you're recruiting, whether it's potentially adding other agents down the line, right? Or looking for an inside sales associate, you got to have 2 or 3 things that you already know that separate you from anybody else in your industry. Okay. And if you guys want help with ideas of unique value propositions, there's a lot of different things you can look at. Okay. But please make sure, guys, before you recruit anybody, you have at least 2 things that you can talk about that separate you from everybody else. Okay. If you notice, production driven. That's the key with the unique value propositions, guys. Okay. I would say this, I focus a lot on basically what they can earn. Okay. I don't believe in just giving salespeople this huge giant base, right? So they can be nice and comfy. They need to be based off of production, right? So if you guys notice here, commission splits, right? When they get a closing, so Patrick, you go out and get a closing from one of your ISAs and they book an appointment for you and you made money, they should make some type of money as well. You want them, guys, attached to the result of the appointment, not just getting the appointments. Because I'm sure, Laura, I see you just joined us. We're talking about inside sales associates. I'm sure nobody on this call, guys, wants to drive out 20 minutes to an appointment and have the person not show up. Right? Or tell you, I wasn't really interested in talking to you. You know, I just told that so I could get them off the phone. So you want them, guys, attached to the results. You don't want that result to be attached to appointments, though. You want that to be attached to listings and closings. So if they get you a certain amount of listings per month, they should get a little bonus. Okay. And depending on what level you're at, you can determine what that number is. Okay. If you guys could, again, I know a few of you on this call, if you don't mind, do me a favor, just put in the chat, guys, how many transactions you did on the listing side of the business last year. Sorry, our Isaiah's checking on me. Making sure I'm on here. So you guys know, we're actually in Arkansas. We're at a recruiting event right now. All right, so I got a couple answers here. Okay, so Scott, 8. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, Audrey, 1 from an ISA. Okay, so guys, do this. Okay, so based on the numbers, start at 3. Once you get 3 listings, they should get a little bonus. Then at 8 listings, 10 listings, and make sure that you have this caked into your comp plan. If not, guys, I'm just going to say this to you. If you would have met me 20 years ago, I was one of the best inside sales associates you could ever meet. Okay, I made 200 plus phone calls. I used to set 10, 15 appointments a day. If you had a comp plan where I couldn't make additional money, you wouldn't get me. I wouldn't take the job. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And then you can see here, support and culture. There's 3 things, guys, that motivate all salespeople. Okay. Money, free time, and recognition. Some, you have to push all 3 of those buttons. Others, you know, everybody has their own, you know, importance when it comes to that. But let me tell you guys, if you're recruiting people and you want to get a top salesperson, remember, money, free time, recognition. All salespeople love that, whether they'll tell you they do or not. Okay, promise you on that. All right, so you can see there's a couple ideas, you know, production driven, support culture. Now, I would say this. Just like when you're in front of a homeowner trying to list their home, we need to be consultants in our industry, right? We need to really be able to talk to that person and show them that we give a crap and we're not just trying to sell their home, right? We got to care. We have to get to know them, what they're looking to accomplish. Guys, it's the same thing when you're hiring an ISA or bringing on a salesperson. You have to find out what are they looking to accomplish and show them how you can help them get there. Okay, I'm going to pick on Samantha since she's on the call, but I interviewed Samantha a little over 2 years ago. I think she's coming up on her 2-year anniversary. You have to find out. Guess what? I found out a big thing with her was family, right? She had a daughter. She needed security, right? And the ability to be able to make more. So guys, same thing. You need to be able to figure out what buttons do you need to push with this person, and then show them how you can help them accomplish some of their own personal goals. So think of it, guys. It's like selling a home. Doesn't that sound like what you're doing when you sell a house? Right? When you're trying to get a listing, Jennifer, you want to make sure you want to figure out what they want to do, right? Why do they want to sell? Are they downsizing? Are they upgrading? And why? Okay, knowledge is power, guys, if it's used effectively. So once you get to know what they want, figure out how you can help them get there. All right. And guys, you'll have very loyal people too that won't leave you. So you won't deal with all the churn if you don't just look at them as an employee. Look at them as part of your family, your team. Okay. And if they don't fit that culture, get somebody else in there that does. All right. So again, if you guys look here at 244, here's a couple, little statements, basically. A big thing I would say is if they want to become an agent, find out if they ever want to become an agent down the line. It's a perfect way to build a team. Get them to become an ISA. They learn the language, they learn the industry, they learn how to book appointments. And if they decide, right, to become an agent, now you can make them a part of your team. Now, if you guys are clients with Ren, no matter what level, guys, that you're on, think about some of the unique value propositions you have with us. We have AI technology that's tracking the leads for you guys. So, hey, Mr. ISA, you're going to know who you should be calling. Your data is going to be prioritized, and you're not just going to go in there and just start making random phone calls and hope for the best. Right? You're going to have people that have gone down the funnel, that are raising their hand, that know who Patrick, Jenna, Audrey, Laura are before you even call them. Because we see they've watched the video, they've gone into your Facebook page, they've been on your website. So you're what is called, guys, they're smart dialing rather than the old, let's say, philosophy of 10 years ago of make 500 phone calls a day. Right, on a 10-line dialer and just annoy as many people as you can. Nowadays, guys, with technology and marketing, you can leverage that to make more effective phone calls, be more efficient with your time, which means you're going to make more money. And we're all in here to make more money, right? Anybody want to make less money than they did last year? Anybody? If you do, please jump off this training. I'm just kidding. I'm actually not kidding, actually. All right. But I'll say I'm kidding. All right. So couple here, guys. Free to set up your time, focus, generating more business, right? Lead generation. That would be the last thing, guys, I would talk about. Leads. How many leads do you have coming in? Well, guys, that's definitely something you want to make sure anybody you're recruiting for an inside sales associate knows about. What type of leads are coming in? How many are coming in? And then what type of systems, tools, and processes do you have in place to support them? So think, guys, of like a listing presentation. Okay. Do you guys all have a listing presentation documented somewhere that you follow? You guys could put yes in there for me, no. So I want you guys to think, a listing presentation. You should have an outline for your interview. Just like you do. Okay, so Lauren, no, not a listing presentation. Audrey, same thing. That's the very first thing that you need to do, guys, is have a listing presentation. Don't go in there just gunslinging. You know, just, hey, I'm just going to shoot off the hip and whatever happens, happens. Okay. Can you get some deals that way? Of course, right? I know I got some rainmakers on this call. I did it for many years in my 20s. I wish I could go back and talk to that not very smart person. And I would have made a lot more money quicker if I would have gotten better with my processes and not just thought I was so good that I didn't need to do that. That I could just do whatever I wanted because it didn't matter. Okay. And I'm just telling you guys a little bit about who I was. That was the error that I made. If I had somebody like you guys to be able to give me these tools and processes, you know, I would have become wealthier much quicker than I did. Right? It wouldn't have taken me until my 30s. I would have gotten there in my 20s. All right. I would also say this, guys, when you're if you're recruiting agents, guys, you know, I would just say this, you know, you have to target the right type of personality. So it's the same thing with an agent or an ISA. Okay. And I want to make sure I talk about both. How many of you guys are in here are going to recruit a team or looking to build a team? If I could get a raise of hands for those on the camera. You're all like, I don't want to build no team. Okay. Here's what I'll tell you. Keep it small, right? And bring on the right people. The worst thing you can do as a team leader, guys, is have somebody that comes in and sucks all your energy out of you. You need somebody that's going to elevate you, just like a relationship, right? You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that brings you down and makes you feel like you have to work twice as hard to make the relationship work. It's the same thing, guys, in business, right? You need to have somebody that's going to help you go to the next level, that's going to be loyal, that's going to have your back. Those are the type of personality traits that you want to look for. All right. So, you know, I always say this: relationships, guys, business, personal, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, doesn't matter. It comes down to communication. And if you guys don't communicate well together, then you can't have a good relationship. And then I would say trust. Okay. You got to be able to trust the people. Because again, they're getting access to your leads. Make sense? Any questions, guys, on that part? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip the page here, guys. So for those of you that following along here. Now we're going to talk a little bit. I would say this. This really, guys, new agents, low performing, good performing, top performing. Guys, same thing when you're talking about an ISA. You have new ISAs that have never done it before. You have people that have done it before in the past that didn't produce that well. And then you have those top people. Okay, so whether it's an agent or an inside sales associate, guys, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. Sometimes the top performing ones, especially when it comes to an ISA, they're not always the best. They're sometimes, guys, think of this. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. So if they come in and think they've been the best salesperson, whether it's an agent or ISA, do you think they're going to want to follow your process? Probably not. Guys, and believe me, I've hired, trained thousands of people at this point. Sometimes the top producing people that think they know everything and have been doing sales for 15 years and, you know, they talk like they can't be trained anything. Those are not always necessarily the right people to bring on as an ISA. You want somebody that you can mold. Okay. Now, when it comes to agents, guys, I would say this, you know, recruiting top performing agents is obviously that's always huge, right? And people that are performing at a next level. I always say this, low producing agents is where you can start. Just make sure you have the right personality traits. And guys, you could, by interviewing and asking questions, you don't want complainers. You don't want somebody that's gonna, never take accountability. Okay, so those are certain things that you want to, take into account. Let me ask you guys this. How many of you have ever taken a disc profile test? Could we put that in the chat? Yes. Okay. So I see one hand. I seen Audrey put a hand up.
Yeah.
Anybody else take a disc profile? I see Jennifer's raising her hand. Mary Ellis. Okay, there we go. So guys, for those of you that have taken it, what do you think I scored? What do you think was my dominant trait, do you think? Mary Ellis is laughing at me. What do you think it was, guys? Take a guess.
Did you have the ADHD?
ADHD. Oh, wow. Jennifer went right at me today. I love it. I would say this, guys, right? So dominant, fast talking, blunt, assertive, impatient, dominant, competitive, demanding, independent, and very strong will. Oh, yeah, there it is. I'm a high
That's
D.
you.
I think I was a 99, guys, when I did it.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, this is a really good form to kind of have them fill out to identify their dominant traits. Okay, are they an influencer? What I'm going to tell you guys is you want people that are in that I and D, like a high I, D is the secondary, right? Or D and I. Now, at the same time, guys, I've hired some of my top salespeople that were S and C with a little bit of I and D. Okay, but you don't want somebody that's a tech type of personality. I like to do that to my tech guys, anybody that's listening. That's a very high C, very cautious, needs to know everything. They're probably not the right person to get on the phone, make phone calls for. Okay, you guys can do that very easily. Set up the disc profile, okay? And you can read some of the things, guys, we put in here. What I'll say to you on this, don't make it the end all be all. It's a nice tool to use, but it's not an end all be all. Don't make your decision strictly off a profile test. Okay, because I'm going to look, Audrey, I know you said you did one. Jennifer, you did one, right? I mean, it was somewhat accurate, right? But it wasn't like perfect, right? There is that part. So you still want to make sure that, you do your normal interviews, you ask questions, and as I talked about earlier, really get to know what this person's looking to accomplish in their life. What are their goals? Okay. Now, if you guys come over here, okay, I'm going to read this bold right here because I think this is important. The ultimate goal, guys, right, for you first to have an ISA is you need to have systems and structures that are going to help you attract people to your team, whether it's agents, ISAs, okay? And you need people on your team that are going to help push things forward. So again, that's where the high D, high I, those are really the type of people that, with the right personality traits are great to start a team. All right. Recruiting scorecard. If you guys want to write down a couple things here for me. Okay, and I'm going to talk here, if you're contacting agents as well as what your ISA should be doing. Okay, think of guys, KPIs. The biggest mistake agents make, or really business owners, guys, I would say this, is we make decisions off of emotion, right? How we feel. Something happens, so we're going to make a decision. You want to make sure that you're making decisions off of facts, numbers, okay? So, for example, you should see how many calls should they be making per day. Out of those calls, what we call them contacts, which means, guys, you had an opportunity to actually talk to somebody. Okay, I like to call it a pitch. Okay, how many pitches did you have? Right, so I made 100 calls or 50 calls, and I did 10 pitches. So I talked to 10 people. Okay. Out of those people, how many appointments did you set? So you have your calls, contacts, appointments. Why this is very, very important, guys, is you can always figure out where their area of opportunity is by looking at their numbers. Okay, for example, guys, if they're not getting enough appointments and they're making 50 calls a day, Well, we can start right there. We're not making enough calls. We're not giving ourselves enough opportunity. Now, if they have the calls, but they're not talking to enough people, they're not getting 10 pitches. Guys, and for ISAs, what I would say, guys, is look at 10 pitches a day. If they're there for 8 hours, guys, and they can't talk to 10 people, there's something wrong. And then out of that 10, guys, you should be looking for 4 appointments. All right, so you got your calls, pitches, appointments. Now, I'm going to pick, I see Jenna's on here. All right, she's not on camera, but I see your face. I see a picture, Jenna, so I'm going to pick on you right now. So Jenna, you don't want to go out, or if you're going out to appointments and they're setting 4 appointments a day, but you're not getting listings, well, we know that we have to look at the end of the call and make sure they're building value in the appointment and they're getting people excited about it, because you're not paying them, Jennifer, to set appointments. You're paying them to help you get listings and closings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So the next thing you want to track, guys, is if I have, let's call it 20 appointments a week, how many presentations did you actually get off? So I'm going to go back to Audrey, because I know you said you didn't have a listing presentation. Once you get the listing presentation done, how many times did you get to use that? Right? So if you had 20 appointments, did you get 5 of them that you actually got to present to? You want to make sure you're looking at that number. And go ahead, Audrey. I seen you took yourself off mute. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so with the last brokerage I was with, we actually were never told of a listing presentation. So
Wow.
I'm really interested in it, because even when I went on my first listing appointment with my broker, he even went through, he just kind of walked in, did the talking right then and there, was not prepared, didn't even get ready, nothing. So I was like, okay,
Wow.
that's interesting. So I kind of learned it a little different. So now hearing this, I'm more interested in it.
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that do that, Audrey. They just go in there. I call it gunsling. I did it for many years. I had no clue why I was doing so well, but I always did well. So I'm like, whatever, who cares, right? But how do you scale it out if you don't figure out what's working, right? And why it's working, right?
Yeah,
and then
that makes you nervous too, because you don't know how the outcome's going to be.
Yes, it's so, I'll say this, it takes away that emotion, right? And that nerves, because you're like, hey, I'm following my listing presentation that I have. I know what I'm going to do. And by the time you've done 10 of them, that listing presentation is going to be so embedded, right? And you're going to have it, so internalized that you can just, right, spit it right off. Okay. And now, Audrey, when the time comes, because none of us want to be working forever, right? There's going to be a time that you want to scale, right? And maybe be able to take a step back, make more money, work less. That sound good? We all like that? Okay. I'm going to be 40 years old in like 2 years, like 2 years and a month and a half now. Okay. My goal was always, by the time I got to 40 years old, I want to be able to work when I want to work and do what I want to do and not have to worry about money. That's always been a lifetime goal of mine. Well, I learned very early on, I can be very good at what I do, but if I want to be wealthy, I have to be able to show other people how to do what I can do. So that's why, Audrey, I say the listing presentation will really help you with a lot of things, but then it'll also set you up to, if and when you want to be able to train and coach others. Okay. Now back to, guys, the tracking. So you want to have a scorecard, calls, pitches, appointments, presentations. Then the final 2, guys, listings and closings. So I'm going to go over that again, guys, for any of you guys who want to write this down. How many calls, how many pitches, right? How many people did they actually talk to? Out of those pitches, how many turned into appointments? From the appointments, how many actually showed up where you were able to give a listing presentation? So I like to say appointments to Prezo, Prezo to listing, listing to closing. So now you have all of your KPIs in front of you and you're not making emotional decisions anymore. You're able to make decisions off of hard facts. Anybody ever heard, guys, sales is a numbers game? Ever heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Mhm.
What do you think? What do you think that means? Jennifer, you're off mute. So what do you think it's a numbers game? What do you think that means for you personally?
I don't know. I haven't, ever sold anything. I cannot feel anything.
Right. Okay. Somebody help her out. Laura, what do you think a numbers game? What does that mean to you when you hear that? What would you think that means?
The more that you do and get better at, the more you can accomplish.
Okay.
But if you don't
Yeah,
have any numbers, anything to put in it, you don't have any meat and potatoes.
Absolutely. Well, and I would say this, guys. So I took it when I first heard that, many moons ago now at this point, about 20 years ago. Okay. I took it as dials. It's a numbers game, right? I got to make as many dials as I possibly can. That's not what it is, though. A numbers game in sales is being able to look at your key performance indicators and start making business decisions off of those numbers. Also, guys, you're able to train and figure out where your areas of opportunity are, whether it's your agent that's out. So if you have an agent on your team and they're 0 for 5 on listing presentations, well, but they're getting appointments and they're getting presentations, but they can't get the listing. Well, we know that we got to focus probably at the end there, right? And we need to look at the entire presentation from start to end on what is causing us to go 0 for 5. Now, at the same time, Jennifer, let's say you go get 5 listing presentations and you get all 5. You're all like, yes, I just got 5, right? And we're all jacked up. But why did you get them? What did you do? Was there something that you did? And that's what I guys like to say a numbers game is you're always looking at your numbers to look at what do I need to get better at? What are my areas of opportunity?
Yeah, I better write it down.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
You
Right.
get the same result.
Absolutely. Yes. Right. And then, I would say this, guys, what am I doing well? What do I know I'm doing well? Because I want to make sure I keep doing that. There's been times, guys, I've seen salespeople, whether it's agents or inside sales associates, they're doing really well, but they have no clue why. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't really do that anymore. I'm like, why don't you do that anymore? You're like, I don't know. I stopped saying that to them. And your numbers are going down, right? Your closing rate's gone down. It could be something as small as how you're starting your listing presentation could be causing you to have a lower conversion rate. Okay. I spent a lot of time on this, guys, because really for me, numbers, that's where I was able to go to the next level personally, was when I looked at my numbers every single day. And I started making business decisions off of my numbers. It got to the point, guys, I got so excited to write down my numbers for the day and to go put them in so I could go, look at that, right? I see I'm progressing. It was kind of like what I started. I wish I would have done this earlier too, but saving money. It becomes addicting, right? To the point where you're looking at your bank account saying, okay, how much do I have in there now? All right, right. And it's the same thing with your numbers. If you update your numbers daily, you look at them daily, and you make business decisions off of them, it's no longer a task to do the numbers. You actually start to get excited about it because you see your growth. And there's nothing better, guys, to be able to pull something out. If I was at my house, I could pull out books, guys, from years ago, little books just like this, little composition books, okay, where I would have July bills, August bills, and I'd have them all written down with what my paychecks were going to look like without any commission. And after doing that for a couple of years, all of a sudden I was able to get my bank account to a level that I never thought it was even imaginable, because I did numbers. It's the same thing, guys, with what we do with real estate agents and ISAs. We have to write stuff down. We need to look at it and make business decisions off of that. Okay. Any questions, guys, about the KPI part? Because I know I spent a little bit of time on that. I want to make sure I open it up. Anything that I can elaborate a little bit further for you guys on? Good. Okay. Awesome. I love the line there. If you build it, they will come. Here's the thing. Yes, if you guys build good systems, and I would just say this, I'm not saying it to guys just because I'm the vice president of REN. Okay. If you guys need help, set up a consultation with me or one of my team members. We'll at least talk to you, right? You don't even have to sign up. We can at least give you some guidance, guys, if it doesn't make sense for you to do it now. All right, last thing here, guys, technology. How many of you guys have one centralized database right now, whether it's your leads for your ISA? Do you guys have everything in one CRM right now? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. And then I would say this, Scott, I know you do because I've talked to you. Patrick, and you might have some fragmentation, but I know we have for the most part, Scott. I know you got the marketing hub set up. We have leads going in there and things. It's vitally important, guys. If you bring in an ISA or an agent, either one, and they have to log into multiple systems, or let's say, Audrey, you're going to make some calls, or Mary Ellis, you're going to make some calls. Should you be logging into 3 systems to do that? Absolutely not, right? I mean, I've been a sales guy literally coming up on 20 years. If you said, Scott, you got to go here, then go there, and then go there, I'd be like out the door by the time you talked about the second one. I'd be looking at you like, you're speaking a different language. No. So you need to have it organized, right, in one place for your ISA. Now, if you're looking to recruit agents and you want to build a team, you also need to have a list of agents in your database. Because now you can start doing different email campaigns to them. You can promote your listings and closings. You can retarget them on social media and make sure, Jennifer, that they see you're getting transactions now. People love to work with other successful people. Okay, I'm sure, Laura, you don't go and say, I need a new car. What's the worst car I could buy? Right? Nobody does that. Nobody says, hey, I need a new, grill. What's the worst grill? What's the worst company I can go to buy a grill? We don't do that, right?
No.
We actually, guys, right, buy off of the approval of others. Think about it. Reviews have blown up in the last 10 years because everybody wants to go, all right, so everybody else liked it, so it must be good. I actually have to tell my mother sometimes, stop reading the reviews all the time, because she'll be like, well, I'm going to go with this company because they didn't have any bad reviews. I'm like, but Mom, they only have 2 reviews. This one has 150 and they're 4.9. You're going to go with the 5 because they're a 5? No, right? So people do look at the research. So you have to make sure, guys, that you're getting yourself out there and people see you as that authority, right? That trusted advisor in the market that they want to attach themselves to. All right. Nobody wants to join a losing team. Okay. I'm going to pick on my grandfather, right? For years and years, nobody wanted to be a part of the Cleveland Browns. They just weren't a winning team. People want to be a part of winning teams. So make sure you're setting up systems and technology to promote yourself. Don't think you're being egotistical, guys. You don't need to go out there and pound your chest and talk about how great you are, but people should be seeing your listings and closings. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip here, guys. Recruiting sources. So how could we recruit people, right? How do we get the right people in? I mean, I have a full-time recruiter, right? You can go set up an ad on Indeed, Monster, different places like that. Also, guys, I would just say this, make sure you have business cards on you at all times. Some of the best salespeople I've ever met, I've met at grocery stores in the line, they were cashing me out. actually Costco, if you guys know Costco, was one of the best sales reps I've ever hired in my entire life. She's ringing me out at Costco, and I looked at her. I go, girl, why are you not in sales? She's like, oh, I don't know. And all of a sudden we got talking. She calls me. She came on board. She's one of the best salespeople I've ever had work. Her name's Anna Lutz. Restaurants, bars, waitresses, bartenders. Guys, guess what they do? What do they do all day?
Talk to people.
Talk to people. Absolutely. And guess what you have to be good at if you want to be an ISA or an agent? You better be able to talk to people. Okay, you can't sound like me and think you're going to be good. I'm just kidding. All right, so you want to make sure, guys, you have business cards on you at all time. Look for events, job fairs, career days. Just go there. Walk in for an hour, walk around. Have your business cards with you. If you have the ability, guys, set up a booth. And I've always say this, guys, I love networking events. That's where I've met a lot of people. Okay. I mean, you can do the magazines, things like that, but you know, to me, and when you're at the level, guys, where you're closing as an agent, here's what you should be doing. Listing homes, building relationships, and networking. Those are all money-making activities. Listing homes, building relationships, and networking. All right. And then I would say this, guys, if, offer referral bonuses, especially if you have people on your team already, like, hey, if you send me somebody over and they come on board, I'll shoot you a little referral check. Talk to other agents. So I hope, guys, that helped a little bit, because I'm going to take this last 15 minutes, guys, and we're going to talk about booking appointments. How many of you in here make calls every day? I see like little hesitance. Marielle's like, yeah, if I feel like it. All right. Here's what I'm going to tell you. And Scott, I think you know this because you and I have talked a lot. One thing, guys, I'm not the best at most things. One thing I'm very good at, though, is on the phone. Okay. Or just talking to people in a big group. Couple things you want to write down. Look at these 6 things that it has written here. Build rapport. Well, how do you build rapport? I mean, it sounds easy, right? But Jennifer, you didn't like me. I'm just kidding. I know you like me, Jennifer, right? I built some rapport with you. You have to build rapport. Well, how do you do that, guys? First, mirror and match how they sound. I know that's probably sales 101 for a lot of you guys. But I'm going to tell you guys this. If you're talking real fast and they're a slow talker, done. You're already gone. You have to listen. Okay. And this is the next one I want you to write down. Be a great listener. Okay. You have 2 ears and one tongue for a reason. Shh. And listen. Okay. Most people on the phone, their biggest problem is they word vomit all over the person they're on the phone with. Right? I call it they're just machine gunning them with all this stuff. Shh. Building rapport takes listening. Anybody on here talk to somebody that you know is not even paying attention to you? They're just waiting to talk. Right? It's annoying. I see a couple hands on there. I hope I'm not bringing up any spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, anything like that. Some of you guys are like, you know what? Actually, now I think of it. Here's the thing. It's annoying, right? Nobody likes to talk to those type of people where it's like, oh my God, Jennifer, I had this happen today. Laura, I had this. And all of a sudden, yeah, that's cool. So, hey, let me tell you all about my day. You're just looking at them like, what? It's the same thing, guys, on the phone. If we're trying to make it about getting an appointment, you've already lost. It's not about the result. It's about getting to know that person, mirror and match them, be a great listener, write things down, guys. I mentioned the compensation book. Every person, if I've ever talked to you guys and done any type of sales call with you, I have your name in one of my books with notes taken on that call, and I can go back to it at any time. I literally could go back almost 20 years, guys, and pull out books that I have at my house of calls I made 20 years ago. and pull out the notes from that call. It's so vitally important because are you going to get everybody right on the spot? There you go. I love it. I see Audrey. Yeah, she's writing down a lot of notes. And Laura, I see you taking a lot of notes there too. Guys, to me, that's the best way to learn, right? We all learn our own ways. But if you listen and write it down, so think about it, when you're on the phone with the client and you're writing it down, what are you not doing? Interrupting them and talking. You're actually listening because you're writing it down. You want to make sure you don't miss anything. So that's another reason, and I'll give you guys one of my biggest secrets, okay, when I'm on the phone. The mute button. When they talk, hit the mute button. Shh. And literally, guys, I go like this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. When they stop, I unhit the mute button and I speak again. Still to this day, guys, I couldn't break that habit if I tried to. When
Wow.
I'm on these events, guys, when I'm on these events and I'm talking, if Isaiah starts talking, watch the next time we're on an event together. You'll see me hit the mute button on my thing. It's literally so embedded in me. And it's helped me so much throughout my career. And I promise you guys, if you implement that right away, that'll help you build more rapport. Because you're going to be doing a better job listening and actually caring. All right, so building rapport, those are a couple things. And guys, think of this. Write down the last thing for build rapport. TPMH. Tone, pace, hesitation, modulation. And if any of you have been in a training with Isaiah, you've heard that many times. Okay, tone. Think about your dog. Okay, I've had dogs my whole life. I could be like, bad boy, Lucky, bad boy. And he'll come over like, hey, what's going on? Because of my tone, right? My tone sounds like I'm happy. So he doesn't even hear the words. So tone. Should my tone sound like this? Like I hate my life and it's just because Audrey's making me make phone calls that I'm making phone calls right now. Right? All right. Laura's like, I'll just say this too, guys. Get them to laugh. There you go. You want to know, I used to literally, now I'm going to go back to my little arrogant 20-year-old salesperson that I was. Okay. I would Babe Ruth it sometimes on a call. If I got them laughing, I'd go like this. I'd stand up. I'm like, it's done. It's over. I got it. And they're like, Scott, you're 5 minutes in the call. What are you talking about? I'm like, it's already done. But I've learned if I can get somebody where they're laughing and I'm having that type of relationship, guys, and I'm listening, you're going to win 9 times out of 10. Okay. Qualify. Number 2. This is probably the most underutilized aspect of most people on the phone. Scott said, people ask me if I'm a robocaller. We got to focus on that tone, pace, hesitation, modulation, Scott. And brother, anytime you want a one-on-one coaching, Scott, I'm going to put my phone number in here. Okay. And this is for anybody, guys. You ever want a role play or hot seat? Guys, I've done it millions of times at this point. Call me. Just role play with me. I have no problem. I'll give you the good, bad, and ugly. Okay, just make sure you don't bring your feelings on that phone call because I will be directly honest with you. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what you did well and what you need to get better at. Okay, that's my personal cell phone, guys. I don't give that to everybody. All right, feel free to call me if you guys would like. Okay, qualify. If I'm talking to, and I'm trying to set a listing appointment, well, guys, I got to find out, when are they looking to sell? What type of price do they want? I tell agents all the time, if they're trying to, just overprice their listing, figure that out quickly so you don't spend all your time with it. Qualify. Make sure in your script, guys, one of the things, so, hey, let me ask you, are you listed on the MLS right now? Are you working with another agent? Okay, no. Okay, awesome. So let me ask you, potentially time frame wise, when would you be looking to sell? If you don't find that out early, Jennifer, you might end up being on the phone with this person 25 minutes, and the 27th minute you find out, well, they don't really want to sell for another year. And you're like, I just built all this rapport. I built all this value. And now I got to follow up with them in 9 months. Now we know, guys, if they say 9, they might be ready in 3. But again, don't waste your time on that call. Okay, I'm actually gonna put Isaiah on speakerphone since I'm on the bench so you guys can see it's Isaiah calling me. What's going on, brother? You're on speaker with our live training right now.
Oh, cool. So the lunch, Grant Wise is having a lunch, and they're doing a big charity raise. So we think we should go to the lunch and contribute.
Okay,
Be part of it. Or I'm sorry, the dinner time.
the dinner one.
So dinner tonight, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna be done in about 10 minutes. I'm getting through the appointments with everybody. It looks like they're taking a lot of notes. So I just want to wrap up. I'll give you a call as soon as I'm done.
Sounds good.
All right, bye.
All right. See you.
All right. So qualify, guys. Make sure you're doing that in the first 15 to 20 seconds of the call. Okay. And again, if you guys want help with scripting and things like that, we're more than happy to help with that. Add value, guys. Think of this: unique value props. So I think I picked on Laura earlier. Maybe it was Audrey, one of you two. I said, if you go and somebody says, why should I list my home with you compared to so-and-so? Well, you better have good reasons and strong, unique value propositions to be able to use in your script as well, right in your introduction. I like to call them, guys, power statements. Now, if you notice, I didn't say long-winded statements, right? I said power statements. Short, simple, and strong. Okay, so think add value, power statements. Create doubt that they don't have the best. Guys, this would be, if they're thinking about, well, I have a family member and that's a friend of a friend of a friend that's an agent. Well, guys, right? It doesn't matter, friend or not. Ultimately, what matters? Who's going to do the best job selling your home? And sometimes you have to make sure and be direct about that, hey, it's okay. You can talk to the family member. Just remember, Mary Ellis, the reason I do what I do, and then boom, hit them with a couple of those power statements of what separates you and how by not using you could potentially cost them thousands of dollars. Okay. Close the appointment. It's my favorite part. Write this down, guys. ABC. Anybody know what I mean by ABC? Oh, Mary Alice, you're on mute, but I could read your lips. Always be closing. Now, guys, that doesn't mean if they say to you, Jennifer, well, I think I got to think about it. You're like, are you going to list your home now or what? That doesn't mean just keep closing them. Okay. What it means, guys, is you should always be transitioning and getting back to your close, which is the appointment. Everything you're doing, all of your cycles. Okay. Think of the potential client as a child. Okay. And I think actually, Audrey, I think you just had a child. So think you have your child and you're walking with them. Okay. Just like the child, guys, they're going to see all these pretty colors. They're going to want to go a different direction. They're not going to want to go down your path. Well, just like a child, guys, when they go running off, you got to get their hand, get them back on your path, and then keep it moving down the path to get to your close, which is the appointment. If not, you'll end up saying, well, Scott, I had a really good call. It was like 30 minutes. But yeah, I got to call them next week again. It's because you weren't closing and you weren't trying to get the appointment consistently enough. So always be closings mean, and I'm going to go back to the listing presentation, guys. Audrey, when you build out your listing presentation, the key is, guys, if you walk out of that house without the signed listing, your chances literally have been cut in half of actually getting that listing. Well, Scott, they got to think about it. They got to do this. Guess what? I've heard all that. And then guess what? They're listing with somebody else a week later. You know how many times that's happened to agents? Thousands. Because they're not closing and we're trying to just be their buddy. Remember, by not going with you, they are doing themselves a disservice. Not all agents are created equal. And there's this perception out there that we are. We're not. You are different and you care and you do the things, guys, I was talking about. Build rapport, show them you care, listen. And then here's a really big one, guys. Actually care. actually give a crap. Right? If you do that and you actually care, it'll come across. People will know. Okay, we can all smell the BS, right? When somebody's being fake with us. So be genuine, right? All right, I want to, so close the appointment. And then guys, have an objection cycle. If you guys want to write down the cycle that I literally train people, actually, I'm going to tell you what I used to write down years ago. This was the only thing I told you guys I didn't have processes. I had one Post-it note up at my desk that I had before I really started getting any processes. It just said relate, resell, close, or ask a question. So anytime they give you an objection, guys, the first thing you need to do with them is get in their world, relate with them, show them empathy. Now, I didn't say, guys, sympathy. We don't feel bad for them. Empathy. We want to get into their world. Resell, guys, think of that. That's your power statements. So it's like, hey, you know, Laura, I completely respect where you're coming from, right? And I know as a homeowner, you know, with obviously all the stuff that's going on, you want to make sure you're making the right decision and you're able to get the best value for that home. What I can tell you, see, that was empathy right there. And then hit them with a unique value proposition. Go back to the power statements, right? What I can tell you is Laura, I've worked with, you know, 500 homeowners, and I'll tell you this, right? I'm going to be here for you every step of the way. And then touch on their pain and motivation, guys. I'm going to help you get into that next house so you can get out of here and start your new job. And we're going to make this happen. And then close them. So let's do this, Audrey. So let's do this. And you pull out that listing contract or you go to the, so let's do this. Let's get a time in the calendar where Jennifer, I'm going to come out and see you. Okay. I have some availability. And guys, don't say to them, so when's good for you? Give them choices. So I have some availability, Jennifer, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, or I could get you in a little bit earlier if you wanted, around 10. Which one do you think would work best? What did I just do? I gave them a yes or a yes. 10 or 3. And then the second part, guys, is ask a question. So if they're not ready to be closed yet, which not everybody is, and this is a gut thing, you got to figure out whether you feel like you can go in and ask for the appointment. If they're not there yet, guys, ask them a question. So let me, you know, hey, I hear you. I respect that. I work with the top. So let me ask you this, you know, what would be, let's say, you know, ultimately the time frame that you would like to be in the new house, Audrey? What are you thinking? 30 days, 60 days? When would you like to get this all wrapped up? What did I just do? I took back control of the conversation and I am directing where the call is going and what we're talking about. I'm sure you guys have all heard call control, things like that. You know, that makes me think of this lady that never had any idea how to sell anything. Okay, she was a manager of mine probably 18 years ago. She basically, what the company I was at is they would take the lowest level salespeople and make them the manager, right? Because they didn't want to take the top people off the phone, right? Call control, she used to say. Nobody really, if you haven't been on the phone, what does that mean? Call control. Well, what it means, okay, I'm going to go back to the kid. Well, hey, mom, how does this work? If you just answer the question, what's going to happen again? Another question is going to come up. If you're on the phone, guys, and they go, well, Jennifer, how long have you been doing this? Or how many houses have you sold? Great question, right? And I can tell you this, I've sold a ton. If you don't want to give the exact number, I've sold a ton. I've been doing this for about X amount of years. Let me ask you this, and then give a little bit of the answer to the question, and then ask them a question.
Okay, so tell me how to go about, you know, sell the none.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I think of it like this. My first day on the sales phone, I remember this. I used to tell them, I'd act like I've been doing it for years. Doesn't matter. Right? I'm going to fake it until I make it. And then you'll get to the point, Jennifer, then you can start being direct about how much business you've done. And here's the thing, you could just say, if they go, how many transactions have you done, Jennifer? Hey, that's a great question. What I can tell you, right, is I'm actually talking to so-and-so and so-and-so over here, right? Where I can be an impact for you, Jennifer, and then I start talking about things I know they want to get done, and then I ask a question. And guess what I never did? I never answered their question directly. I didn't tell them that I was 18 years old, right? I've had that happen when I was young. They'd be like, how old are you, Scott? I'm like, hey, great question, man. I've been doing this for some time now. And I would just take the conversations up because I didn't want to tell them that they were talking to an 18-year-old.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that help a little bit, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, awesome. So guys, I know we're running out of time. It's 12:19. All right. I believe Isaiah's going to have me on here more, but guys, I'll say this. I gave you my direct number. If you guys want any one-on-one consulting, okay, I'm very busy just like you guys, but if you send me a call or a text, I'll book a time with you where we can sit down and kind of hone in your skills. And if I leave you with anything, guys, care. Don't make it about you. If it's self-serving, you will lose 9 times out of 10. Make it about that client. Make it about that agent. Make it about that ISA. Whatever you're doing, be a great listener, really, really care, and follow some of these tactics, guys. You'll take your numbers to the next level.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Before I sign off, guys, any questions for me?
Real
For the
basic
next
question.
Go ahead, Laura. You can go first, Jennifer. I'll come right back to you.
Just real quick regarding the business cards. When I got started as an agent about a year ago, we weren't handing out business cards, so I haven't gotten any. But now that you recommend it, is there anything you would recommend that would make it a good business card, or just your information?
I would say have your information, guys, and maybe if you have like a slogan, Laura, that you come up with, just a quick little one-liner, and have your picture on. You know, a
Okay.
lot of people get business cards without their picture on it. Speaking of business cards, I know I have a ton of them. Hold on, here, there. Right. So guys, here's my business card. Okay. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's my picture, right? The name of the company, and then the different ways that you can contact me.
Yep.
Right. But I had ones without my picture. They're not the same. So you definitely, the big thing, Laura, I would say is have your picture on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And don't make it too busy, guys. Right. Simple. There you go. I like it. Beautiful. Laura, and I was going to say, Audrey, you could share that with Laura, right? Laura, if you want, connect with Audrey or anybody else on here, guys, and see what other people are using.
Okay.
Right.
Laura, send me your address. I'll send you one of mine in the mail.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Awesome. And guys, make sure, a big part of this is I like to tell people is I really want this, and it has been, but continue to grow as like a community where we use each other as resources when it comes to, hey, Audrey, you know what I would say right now? Put your email in there in this chat. And guys, if you have a listing presentation you think that would be good for Audrey to take a look at, share it with her. And then guess what? There's going to be a time, Audrey, that you may teach them something or teach me something that I need help with. All right, Jennifer, did you have a question? I know I wanted to get. No, you said?
No, I just made the business card, I think yesterday or day before. I put they had the empty space. They have a preset, the model, and then they had the empty space. So I put down that I do speak another language.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Why not? That's a unique value prop. Not everybody does, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that separates you from everybody else.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, guys, it's Friday. I like to call it follow-up Friday. Guys, if you have anybody in your pipeline right now that you want to talk to, I would recommend make some calls this afternoon. Call those people. get an appointment or two set up for next week. Okay. So that way you're going into the week and you have a little bit of momentum and you're not thinking like, oh man, it's Sunday or Monday and I don't have any appointments for the week. Friday's a great time to talk to people. People are always in a better mood on Friday. Always. Just the way of life. All right. Did we learn something today? If you guys don't mind, just for my own gratification, and I know, okay, I see thank yous. I appreciate it. Give me one thing, guys, that you're going to take away from this, that you're going to immediately implement that you learned today. You're very welcome, Audrey. You're very welcome as well, Laura. I see you got your email in there too. That's awesome. Listing presentations. I was going to say, Audrey, if you said anything else other than listing presentations, I was going to be shocked. All right, KPIs, mute button. Oh, you started with it recently, Scott. I love it. Ask questions. Yes. Asking questions to close. Beautiful. And guys, I like to call them discovery questions. Have 3 to 5 discovery questions that you know are the main questions you want to ask to help identify pain and motivation. So again, don't go in and just try to think of a question off the top of your head. Have a process built out of certain questions that you know are important to ask and that you want to make sure before the listing presentation, Audrey, you ask these questions so you're prepared for that listing presentation. All right. Bye. Have a great week. You too, Scott. Laura, I appreciate it. Jenna, thank you very much. Audrey, Jennifer, trying to catch everybody. Scott, I always see you, Scott. Mary Ellis. And hey, I see we got Mr. Stephen Brown joined us as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. All right. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Same time, same channel, starting on Monday.
Yep. Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.